We've got a verdict. Ari Melber.
We are looking at count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, guilty.
Yeah, he's guilty on all 34 felony counts, but this will backfire for the enemies of Trump. Here's why. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, and Satan got some tyrants on the plate today. Highlight the absurdities of woke culture and shed a light of awareness on other freedom fighters. Now, a man who certainly appears to be a freedom fighter, President Donald J. Trump, just convicted on all 34 felony counts. What'd he do? Well, we're still trying to figure it out, but he's guilty. That's something we know for sure. So I'm not here to give you all the details and nuances of this really above the board legal case. But what I will say is I'm here to share my opinion on why I believe this is gonna backfire. Just like everything they've done to politically persecute Trump just accidentally makes him more popular. So here's just what might be our future. And that's, of course, assuming we have free and fair elections. I'm not one to make those kind of assumptions. How's it backfiring? Well, already we can see Trump is setting records in campaign fundraising. Trump campaign raises record $34.8 million in donations after guilty verdict. As of this recording, that is less than 24 hours ago. Already backfiring. And before we get to more on how and why this is backfiring, let's just take a look at a little bit of documented proof of how Trump being convicted of 34 felony charges is all above the board. It is just by the book, right? So you can take a look at this tweet by End Wokeness, a little summary. The Clintons, 0 charges or trials. They've never done anything wrong, by the way. Hunter Biden, 0 charges or trials. He does have a trial coming up, by the way. Joe Biden paid the key witness a visit, hasn't visited his son's ex-wife and his crackhead son's ex-girlfriend in years, but he paid her a visit. That's not witness tampering, ladies and gentlemen. The guy's just running the country. Anthony Fauci, 0 charges or trials. Epstein clients, 0 charges or trials. Hollywood criminals, 0 charges or trials. DC war criminals, 0 charges or trials. President Trump got him, ladies and gentlemen. He's the one that we need to go after. All those Epstein elites. Don't think it really happened. Trump, what'd he do? I don't know. Here's what we said he did. Let's get him for it. Another documentation of how this is definitely above the board. This just happened. Take a look at Joe Biden being asked by a reporter about this being a political persecution witch hunt on President Trump. Notice the evil grin at the end of this.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign? We'd love to hear your thoughts, sir.
Should he be on the ballot?
That is either the evil, sinister smile of a human doing evil, sinister thing, or it's a smile of a guy that just pooped his pants. But probably both. I'm allergic to corruption. And you might say, well, he paid hush money. Well, there was a sitting president named Bill Clinton who paid a lot more hush money to a lady named Paula Jones. Here is a quick video of her receiving a $850,000 check from Bill Clinton to settle the claim of, well, not just hush money, but sexual assault.
There's the check.
And show them the check. Raise
There's
it.
the check.
It's your check.
Paula's not going to be saying anything. Her attorneys are here today. So kind of officially, I think what we...
And the doctor says, promise.
So as you can see there, because we know Bill Clinton objectively did something more than Trump allegedly did, and he wasn't prosecuted, let alone convicted, and President Trump was, we can see this is all in line with being out of alignment with the American way of life. Ask no more questions. How are people thinking and feeling? How is this backfiring? Well, I think this meme summarizes it. You can see it here. Someone voting for Trump in 2016, and then how they're voting for Trump in 2024. People don't like tyranny. They don't like authoritarianism, and they see more and more people are waking up to the authoritarianism and tyranny of what's happening to President Trump. That is a big backfire. And before we get to a quick video of a guy who otherwise wouldn't be voting for Trump, but now he is because of this conviction, and he's kind of like a lot of people are of the same thinking, let's ponder this. Let's just say there's such thing as, well, let's call it the deep state that's behind this political persecution witch hunt of President Trump. We can say it's the Biden administration. Truly Biden, like, really, he's wondering about applesauce right now. So whoever the people are, deep state, we're going to call them that. What's their plan? Now, I think they're evil, but I don't think they're stupid. Unless they are stupid, and I'm wrong, they know every time they go after President Trump, his popularity, his support just grows. So they would have to have known convicting him would make him more popular, more loved. And his sentencing on, I believe, June 11th. Let's just say he goes to prison. And right now, I have a hard time imagining he won't go to prison, even though he and his legal team are going to appeal this and hopefully he's successful. But I don't really have a lot of faith in all of the justice system right now. A lot of it I do. This part, not so much. So let's just say he does go to prison. What would that do to his popularity? And there's nothing in the Constitution that says someone in jail can't run for president. What would that do for his popularity? That's the question. It would make it grow. But what's the deep state's plans? If we assume they are not stupid, yes, they're evil, we know that. But if we assume they're not stupid, what's their plan? I wouldn't be surprised if they have a card that we're not really considering right now. Because I was like, dude, they're just helping them get elected. Two things to consider on that. Here's my dumb delusional thinking. One is they don't need to worry about how popular he grows because they got some free and fair election jurisdiction, if you know what I mean. That would be scenario number one. Scenario number two, which I hate that I even think this, but these evil people have given me good cause to consider this as a possibility. So possibility number two of what's their plan, assuming they're not stupid. Let's say he gets sentenced to prison. And then let's just say they just find some made up reason why this former president isn't allowed to have secret security in prison. What happens to him in prison? Probably on the first day. Definitely within the first week, if he is in prison. Without Secret Service. Do you think it's possible he would Epstein himself and it's ruled a suicide? I mean, they're obviously looking to get him out of the way. Right now, what they're doing, if we just follow that trail, it's only getting him more and more reelected, assuming we have free and fair elections. So I don't believe that they're dumb enough to not know they're doing that. I do believe there is... we think we've seen sinister stuff. I would guess they have a sinister card in their hands that is beyond reprehensible, even compared to what they've already done. I don't like imagining that, but I have to say my thinking out loud. Let's move on. Here's a quick interview of a man that exemplifies how the Trump conviction is backfiring in the sense that they are making him more popular. Take a look. We'll get back to this story in just a second, but first, I would dare say America has never been less stable, which means protecting your family has never been more important. And part of protecting your family means being responsible for your family's important documents and passwords. But because we know there's a lot of things in this world you can't trust, including big tech backed cloud storage systems, what are you going to do with your important documents and passwords? Well, luckily the answer is here. Bunker. Bunker is an all-inclusive app that gives you secure cloud storage, password managing, and surveillance-free private messaging. All at a fraction of the price if you were to pay for those services individually, because your privacy is part of your freedom and your freedom matters. Passwords and unsecure cloud storage services continue to be the leading attack vectors for online crime, but Bunker takes care of that for you. And Bunker comes with free, surveillance-free private messaging. And when you find out that both Tucker Carlson and RFK Jr. have reported that their Signal accounts have been spied on, and then you find out the new leftist radical CEO of NPR is on the board of Signal, and she has close ties to the CIA, you'll be even more grateful for Bunker. I have talked with the founders of Bunker, and take it from me, they are proud Americans who care about freedom and care about privacy. For the love of your freedom and the security of your family, go to the App Store now and download Bunker and use the discount code AWAKEN to get 25% off. Protect what's most important to you. Download Bunker now at the App Store. Now back to the story.
I think it's a little ridiculous that in a city where you won't lock up a common criminal.
Yeah. Soros, district attorneys at work, ladies and gentlemen. Won't lock up a criminal. We will lock up that leading presidential candidate, though.
We're going to put a guy who's running for president through all this bull all this crap where, months before he's running for president, it just so happened to occur to you that maybe he committed some crimes. I didn't vote for him the past 2 elections, I'll be honest. And when I say I'm a supporter, I'm somebody who doesn't support every single thing he says or even does. But at this point, they got me to a place where I will pull the lever for this guy because...
They got me to a place where I will pull a lever for this guy. Hear his words. They, as in the people prosecuting him, trying to squash Trump, they have got me to the point. So the people who are trying to squash Trump are the best thing for Trump's campaign.
I mean, what they're doing to him is disgusting, and I think the person we have in office right now is incompetent.
They've taken it too far to where they've awakened independent minds like yourself.
Sure, I think...
They are awakening people. I do believe the evil on the planet is the most potent force of awakening right now because they're doing too much. It's too obvious. It's not hiding the shadows anymore. It's in broad daylight. You either see it or you're in denial of what you see.
This backfired on them completely because, I think they're kind of... crapping their pants a little bit because...
we know someone in the White House is crapping their pants for sure.
Him more appealing to someone like me, and even people who I talk to on a daily basis who may not even like him as a person, but the idea of him being perhaps thrown in jail would be crazy. Like, what kind of country is this?
Then you hop over to CNN, that network that just barely exists because of their Trump bashing, and even they're seeing how this is backfiring. Take a look.
And the text messages I'm receiving are any indication, every Republican in the country is madder than a wet hen. I mean, people who are decidedly non-MAGA.
Madder than a wet hen. That actually doesn't sound like a very liberal guy.
Not Trump fans are blowing up tonight saying this case never should have been brought. This is ridiculous charges. It was egregious use of the criminal justice system. And I mean, I'm hearing people say I had no intention of voting for Donald Trump and now I am. And then if you ask the Trump campaign what's happening, they literally broke their online donation portal because people were rushing to the internet to give them money in the minutes after the verdict. So I think there's a real chance here. This is going to massively backfire on the Democrats and help Donald Trump.
Unless we're not allowed to question election integrity, unlike the Democrats in 2016. And here is another presidential candidate, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., also talking about how he believes this persecution and conviction of Trump is only helping him.
Presidential candidate RFK Jr. joins me now. What do you think happened down there in Lower Manhattan today?
I think, Jesse, that it is going to backfire. This conviction is going to backfire on the Democrats. I think every time that President Trump has been indicted, that his approval ratings actually increase, his popularity increases. I think there's a large number of Americans who are going to see this as the politicization of and the weaponization of the enforcement agencies.
Keep in mind, this is RFK Jr. He's not a fan of Trump, and he is Trump's political opponent. Yet he's seen this for what he is. He's being honest with it, which I absolutely love. A normal politician would be like, oh, dude, one of my opponents is like convicted of 34 felonies. Let's just call him guilty. But no, RFK Jr., he has integrity. He's seen this for what he is. Even though, like, him saying this out loud, it sounds supportive of his political rival. And keep in mind, RFK Jr. is a tried and true lawyer. He knows the law. Let's hear a little more.
And I think it's going to hurt. It's bad for our democracy. I think the Democrats feel like they have the DNC feels like it has a candidate that cannot win fair and square in the polls.
You mean the DNC has their candidate Biden, who they don't think can win? Yeah, that all checks out. That really does. That really explains why we gotta win this election before the election. Is that election interference? Not when we do it.
And so they have to win in the courts. They have to win by clearing the deck and getting their other opponents out of the race. I'm not a fan of President Trump's, but I want to win. I want to beat him in a campaign on a level playing field. I want to talk about his issues.
So you even hear it from one of Trump's political rivals, RFK Jr., and I have a lot of respect for both RFK Jr. and Trump, that this conviction of President Trump actually helps him. That I like. What I don't like is potential corruption that has led to him being prosecuted and then convicted and then, of course, sentencing. We'll see what happens there. I don't like the corruption, but I do love when evil tries to do evil things and it only backfires and hurts the evil people. So, a lot to be seen here, yet for today, this is my perspective, sort of like the silver lining of a really gruesome nightmare of how this conviction of President Trump is backfiring against the establishment that's brought all this against him. With that said, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, whether you agree, disagree, or see it in any other way, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. And until then, stay corruption-free.